Good evening and welcome to From the Hawkeye of the Storm, Iowa Postgame with Coach Gary Close. Before we begin, I'd like to give a plug to our sponsor, Brad Van Meter. Brad's been a long-time sponsor of the show. He's an insurance agent for State Farm down in their office in Des Moines at 4229 Fleur Drive in Des Moines. Go ahead and give him a call at 515-256-6480 or visit his website, bradvanmeter.com, for any of your insurance needs in the Iowa area. Again, Brad's been a long-time sponsor of the show, so if you have any insurance needs, please call him at 515-256-6480 and see what he can do for you as far as saving money on your insurance. Well, thank goodness that's over. That's all I can say. That was tough. I'm not, sometimes I get a little ranty when these things happen. You're not going to get that tonight. I'm not done with this team. I'm not overreacting to one game, but that was a rough watch. That was a tough night for Iowa as they narrowly defeat Rutgers. Let's get our banner back up here. 68-62 inside Carver-Hawkeye Arena. Quad 4 loss avoided narrowly in the confines of Carver-Hawkeye to a Rutgers team that played very big and very physical all night. Played solid defense. Really didn't give you a lot on offense, but man, I'm glad they survived that. Wasn't looking good for a while, but Bennett Sturts and Tate Sage made the plays that they had to make down the stretch to get things done here for Iowa. So we're going to talk all about it here. We're going to take your calls, take your chats. I think there's a link here in the chat here. Let me drop that in again. If you'd like to call in and talk to myself, we will have Coach Gary Close joining us. We're gonna keep our time brief with him tonight, as I know he has early morning commitments tomorrow morning. So, without further ado, let's get the man himself in, Coach Close.
Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm glad they survived that. Before we get started, I'd like to just point out I almost missed kickoff last night because of you.
Really? Why?
Yeah, well, I happened to be watching the preview for the game on Big Ten Network, and right after the conclusion of the pregame show, what came on next? Well, it was the Chris Street documentary they had playing during the game. And what did they cut to very early on in the documentary? Well, they cut to our friend, Coach Gary Close, who was very emotional after being asked a question about the death of our our wonderful friend Chris Street. So I was that captivated me for a couple of minutes. I was sad to move on to the game because it is such a captivating watch. It's a great watch. If you haven't seen it, it's on Big Ten Network from time to time, around Big Ten Plus, I think.
Yeah.
So give it a watch. But yes, I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm reminded of that every once in a while.
There you go.
Well, Coach, that was tough. Like I said, I'm not going to overreact to one game. I've been pretty consistently high on this team all year. I will continue to be so. I still believe they have everything out in front of them. But, man, what went wrong for them tonight against a team that really most people picked Iowa to blow this Rutgers team out? What went wrong tonight?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when you have 20 games, you're going to have a few like those, and Yeah, as you mentioned, Rutgers is physical, so the rebounding kept them in the game. That's one area that Iowa needs to improve on. And they didn't play particularly well, but fortunately, as you mentioned, they found a way to escape and get a win that obviously the consequences of losing would have been much worse. So I think you just chalk it up to a tough game in the midst of a lot of games. They looked a little tired to me, so maybe this break here will be beneficial. And the bottom line is they got it done, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, with 20 games in a Big Ten slate, you're going to have nights like that from time to time. I think they're now
Sure.
at 3 games in 6 days. So,
Yeah.
not that that's an overwhelming load, but certainly, not nothing. So,
Well, they don't play they don't play a ton of guys. So there's some guys playing some significant minutes, and you throw the travel in there and things like that. So and then they're not. I'm guessing they're still not back in school. So that schedule's gone. So they're a little disjointed as far as that goes. It can all lead to, a game like that. And to their credit, though, they did enough to win, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Talk about that. The start to both halves really was very slow. Rutgers looked like the longer team, the more physical team. Defensively looked like they really got Iowa out of a lot of what they wanted to do. Specifically on the offensive end, I think that's what everybody wants to talk about tonight, because I thought the defense was fine. What did Rutgers do so well to get Iowa out of what they wanted to do, particularly Bennett Sturts? I know he came up with some plays late, but 0 of 6 from 3 for Bennett. He had 5 turnovers, very uncharacteristic for him. What did you see from him, and what did you see from Iowa on the offensive end?
Well, I think that's the big
made them
thing. I
struggle?
think as you look at Iowa, they kind of go as Sturts goes, and when he struggles, it's gonna affect the way they play, at least right now. Now maybe that'll change as the year goes on, and you could tell. I think for the first time, I think it's kind of the first time I ever saw him get a little bit frustrated. He's talking to the officials a little bit more than he normally does, but to his credit, he made some big shots down the stretch. He wasn't very good from 3, but he made some big shots down the stretch and did enough for him to win. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is they did a really good job on him, and obviously he didn't shoot well from 3, which normally he's very good at. And when you do that, you slow them down a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things that's on my mind, I know we've talked about it at length on this show, really for the entirety of the season, is Brennan Hen, because really you would think tonight a team that wasn't shooting the ball very well, didn't have a lot going for them offensively, and I would say not a team that really pressures you on the offensive end in Rutgers. I mean, not a team that you're super worried about having tons of mismatches all over the floor. Where did he fit into this game in your mind? It's another DMP for him. Did he potentially have a role tonight? What do you think's going on there? I mean, it's hard to imagine he couldn't have given them some sort of jolt offensively, especially early in that second half when they were really struggling.
Yeah, I don't know, to tell you the truth. His bench is shortening a little bit, and I think those are the guys he's just got confidence, whether it's from practice or games or what have you. But it's been pretty much the case all year long, and not going to play a lot of guys, and there's going to be some guys that are going to get big minutes and kind of goes with a hot hand, and so he just got to keep busting in practice and see if he can make a dent and be ready when his time is called. But I just think he feels more confident in the 8 that he's playing right now.
Yeah. Speaking of the hot hand, let's get to our from the Hawkeye the Storm player of the game, Tate Sage. I thought that was an easy pick tonight. 17 points, 5 of 7 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. I thought him and Isaiah Howard really provided a lot of energy all over the court tonight on a night where, like you're saying, most of the guys that played looked fairly tired or a little bit sluggish at times. Those two definitely did not.
Mm-hmm.
Tate's been a guy that's kind of come along as the year's gone on. Obviously a very young player. What'd you see from him tonight, and what do you think his role is moving forward?
Yeah, I mentioned him before. I think he has definitely caught my eye. It's especially being a freshman, he's got a lot of confidence. He shoots the ball great. And a night when some of the other guys didn't, he hit some big threes that either gave him a lead or kept Rutgers at bay. So my guess is he'll just keep getting more and more minutes if he plays like that. Really, really strong performance off the bench.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of, as you know, I like to go back to my golf analytics and things when we have these conversations, just because that's where I come from. But with those young players and Tate Sage, one of the things I love about him is, as a freshman, you're playing a fairly conservative brand of basketball. You're not going out there. I mean, he's not taking the shots that Bennett's taking. He's not got that kind of green light just yet. But one of the things that I was taught as a young player was, even if you're playing conservatively, play aggressive conservative in your sport. So what that means in golf is, if I can't aim right at a pin, if I'm aiming at the center of the green, I still play aggressively to the center of the green. Just because I'm playing conservatively doesn't mean that my technique or execution is conservative. And that's what I really like about Tate, is he's not going out there trying to make tons of hero plays. He's not going out there trying to flash. But when he does get his moments, you have no doubt that he's 100% confident that he can execute what he needs to execute. And the way that he carried himself tonight, when he had those jump shots open, it was zero hesitation. It was going up. And man, they needed it, because particularly like Fulgaris looked very sluggish tonight. I thought Hale at times looked pretty sluggish. Cooper Koch, I don't know what he was giving them tonight as far as offensively. Lots of hesitation from him. Lots of hesitancy to pull shots. There was a couple times he had kind of semi-open looks and passed them up. So really appreciated that from him on a night where you just didn't get a lot from a lot of guys. I mean, even Cam obviously was fighting for his life in the paint for most of the night with a much bigger player. But man, really outside Sage, Banks, and Sturts, they didn't get a lot from the supporting cast.
No, I agree. And they needed the production off the bench from them, and they got it. And that's a sign of a good team. It's somebody else steps up when other people aren't. It's not their night, and that's why you can keep winning games, and that's the goal, and they're doing it.
Is there anything that they can take from this? I mean, they've had problems closing games at times early in the year. The Indiana game they blew away with, or ran away with it, blew them out in Assembly Hall. So I don't, have they learned to close games? I don't know. Maybe this is a step towards that. Is there anything you saw there late that they can really cling on to as some kind of positive from what was mostly kind of a down night?
Well, the fact that they won, that's a game they could have easily lost, especially if Rutgers had taken care of the ball a little bit better in the first half. But, and you understand when you're playing in the Big Ten, you're playing 20 games, it's, you just got to be ready to go. And if you're not, then anybody can beat you. I know that sounds crazy with some of the differences in the records, but, we've seen him. Michigan barely won at Penn State. I don't know if Penn State's won a Big Ten game. If they have, there's not many. Yeah. And this Rutgers team came back on Wisconsin after they were down big and made it fairly competitive. So you got to respect every opponent and understand that it may not be pretty at times, but the bottom line is if you can get the W, then when the season's over, you're not going to look back and go, oh boy, we played poorly there. It's a win. So that's really all that matters. But you learn from it. Hey, this is what we didn't do well. This is what we got to do better if we're going to continue to improve. And that's the key thing. You're getting towards the mid part of the season. Who's going to improve these next 10 games and get better? And you learn from experiences like this so that next time they're in a situation like this, they can learn off it.
Absolutely. Just as a heads up for everybody that's listening and watching, our 515 phone line is closed tonight. I'm not at Corey Bratta's home base, so I don't have access to that phone line. So if you do want to call in, I've just dropped the link in the description here in the live chat. So if you do want to call in, StreamYard is your chance to talk to Coach Close tonight. We're not going to keep you for long, Coach. I know Corey said you have a flight early morning tomorrow.
We're heading back tomorrow. So
where are you heading tomorrow?
We're in South Carolina. We're heading back to Wisconsin. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Yep. Well, we'll get you out of here as quickly as we can tonight. But for tonight, just again, the 515 line is closed. We've got the StreamYard link up in the chat. So if you want to talk to myself or Coach Close before we let him go here, please do click that link in the description. So here's a trivia question for you, Coach. Somebody may have asked you this already, but Iowa currently, as of tonight, I think Ken Pom has just updated to reflect this game. So Iowa, as of tonight, in Ken Pom is the 19th ranked team in the country, but specifically, they're the 16th ranked defense in the country. When was the last time Iowa was ranked higher than that? What year?
That's a good question. Back to Lute Olson.
The last time they were ranked that high was under Steve Alford, and it was 2005, 2006.
Okay. That's a little while ago.
And according to Ken Pom, 20 years ago, Iowa was the number one defense in the country that year.
For the entire year?
For the entire year.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
20 years since they've been in the top 15 or top 16 in Ken Pom in defense. So
what did they finish that year?
That year, let's see. That year they finished 25-9, and they were the 21st ranked Ken Pom. They were the 154th ranked offense. So struggled offensively that year, but defense kind of carried them. It's been kind of the reverse for Fran, and then under Ben, as of right now, they are. Let's see what they are on offense. I believe they're mid-30s in offense right now. If I pull this net rating up, they are 35th in offense, 16th in defense. So,
okay,
I believe from the last metrics that I checked, every or almost every national champion in the last 10 or 15 years has been top 25 in both offense and defense. It's been very rare that a team's won it all without being top 25 in both. So, does it matter right now? Not really, but nice to see that they're up on that leaderboard. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's we're gonna tap into our StreamYard line here in just a second. But again, Coach Close will be with us for about another 10-15 minutes, and we're gonna get him on his way to get back to Wisconsin tomorrow morning. Let's go to our first caller here. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Glad we got a W.
Oh, we needed that one.
Yeah.
Real quick, Coach, have safe travels tomorrow. It's very cold back in the Midwest.
I hear that.
Enjoy South Carolina while you have it.
Have you, Coach, have you seen the wind chill for Friday morning?
I don't want to know.
It's in Iowa City. It's scheduled to be 30 degrees below zero on Friday morning.
I can believe it. Believe it. Yeah, it's awful.
You might want to miss that flight tomorrow morning, Coach.
I might have to.
You might want to. Yeah, real quick. 33 years ago yesterday, one of the most horrible days of my life, honestly. It was just like you felt like you lost a brother. I'll never, ever forget that Michigan game right afterwards, the first home game at Carver. You wouldn't believe, for those of you who may not have been alive yet, you wouldn't believe how loud Carver got. I mean, it was deafening, and I think Coach can attest to that. And 13 years ago yesterday, Coach had to come back to Iowa City at the 20-year anniversary game with Wisconsin, and it was probably a game that we almost lost, but I think emotion willed us to a 4-point victory. What was that like, coaching a game like that, given your ties to the Street family?
Yeah, that was not an easy game. There are a lot of things going on in your mind. You're just trying to get it all straight and do the best you can in terms of coaching and getting ready to win a game. But I knew it was going to be an emotional day, and emotionally for a lot of people, including myself. And
right.
Iowa played very well, and we gave them a pretty good battle, but came up a little short.
Yeah, 4 points. It was a good game. Now, as far as today, a couple things really stood out to me. Number one, Fulgaris really seems to have hit the wall lately. And granted, with this team, it seems like if one guy kind of falls off, somebody else like Tate Sage will pick it up, or against Indiana was Tavian Banks. But what do you make of that? And then my only other question is, do you think we have a hard time getting a fair shake under the basket? Now, granted, I'm the first one to say we need to stop missing so many bunny shots and close-up shots. But 3 or 4 times, again, I felt like we got mugged with no call. And, the other team, they can just drive to the basket and draw a foul on us. What are you seeing, Coach?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think with the big kid, I think it's, kind of like the team. You're going to have stretches where you don't play well, and it's a long year, and first time he's played in the Big Ten, it's a jump, and he's just going to have to fight his way through it. He's talented enough that he can do that, and gets a couple good games under his belt and fight right through it. I think one of the areas that a lot of teams got to improve on, and I think I'd put Iowa in that category, is their ability to finish around the basket. And a lot of times we would talk about if you make a weak move or a move that doesn't look strong, a lot of times you won't get the call even if you're fouled, and that's just the nature of the game. That you've got to slow down, you got to be stronger, you got to make a good decisive move. And a lot of times you rush the move so fast that by the time the official realizes it's a foul, the game's already gone on, and he doesn't blow the whistle. So you got to slow down and shot fake and take your time, get good balance, and that to give the referee time to zero in on what's happening around the basket. And you'll find that you'll get some calls where you didn't get fouled. When you rush it or make a weak looking move, your chances of drawing a foul are not nearly as good unless it's just flat out obvious. And I think they've gotten better, but I think they still have got a ways to go. And it's not easy. It looks like it's easy, but it's not. It takes practice and work and confidence and experience, and a lot of those cases, those kids are young in there, so it'll come, but it's going to take some time.
I think that Iowa State game, what you brought up, really is a good point. They drove to the basket very decisively, but when you look at a replay, it didn't look like many times they really actually were fouled, but they went up strong, and it looked good. And you can almost sense the referee anticipating that he's going to blow the whistle, even if it didn't happen. So that's a very good point, and I think that may have been the difference of that game.
Well, and the other thing, as I mentioned, if you do it quickly, by the time it registers in the official's mind to look, oh, that's a foul, I got to blow my whistle. The game's already moving on, and he just I'm just not going to call it. Because it just happened too quickly, and it didn't register quick enough for him. I know that sounds kind of silly, but
it makes sense. So
you got to give the official time to make a call with a good, strong move.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, good to see you, Ryan.
Good to see you, and have safe travels. It is cold. You're not going to enjoy that, but have a safe trip. Good to see you again, Kyle.
Yep. Good to see you, Ryan.
Take care, guys.
All right. Thank you. All right. So let's quickly get to our Big Grove big play of the day here, and then we'll get one more caller and we'll get you out of here, Coach. How about that?
Okay, Kyle.
All right. Big Grove's big play of the day. I had Bennett Sturtz and one layup with a minute 42 to go. Put them up by what'd that get them up by 4 or 5? Extended the lead late in the game, and then of course after that you had the 2 charges going both ways.
Yeah,
that was that was an interesting
smart play.
I don't know that I've ever seen that late in a basketball game, traded charges.
Well, it was a smart play. He got nailed for on his behalf. He turned right around and gave it back to him. It was a real smart play.
Yeah, absolutely, and a way to bounce back, because it'd be pretty easy to lose your composure if you're Bennett after that. I mean, it was it was a little bit questionable, but now I'm not going to say anything about the officiating tonight, because I thought it was pretty fair, but that was interesting. But I picked Bennett Sturtz layup and one. There were other ones that nothing super crazy tonight. Obviously some of Tate's threes could have been nominated. He had a big one on the left in the left corner with couple of minutes left that was wide open, and I really thought that was going to go down. I was about ready to type that in as play of the game, and then it hit back iron. But both of his threes that missed today were one of them was halfway down, and one of them was perfect line back iron.
Yep.
So everything looked good tonight. So Bennett Sturt's layup and one's our Big Grove big play of the day. Going to get a plug for Big Grove real quick here. Big Grove Brewery is the official craft brewery of the Hawkeyes. They've got brand new location in Omaha, locations in Iowa City, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Solon, and a proud sponsor of our show. We've got their logo up in the top left there and their website on screen. So please check them out. Go to Big Grove, go to one of those locations if you're within driving distance. Great place to watch a game as we get closer to tournament season. Here is the next thing around the corner after the Super Bowl that we'll all be excited for. So it's football, college football, the football that I really care about's over, but and the football that you really care about's over too, right, Coach? No more Eagles games, but
no more Eagles games. No, it takes a little luster off the NFL playoffs, but those are two wild games.
Yeah,
there were some good football to be had, even though it wasn't my team.
I know you're not a Bears fan, and neither am I, Coach. But that throw by Caleb, oh my goodness.
That might be the greatest play I've ever seen. That's unreal.
It's so sad that it's not really. I mean, it'll be remembered, but it won't be remembered like it would have been had they won. But my gosh, that was.
You got to win. Yeah.
I mean, to backpedal from what ball was snapped at the 14, and he backpedaled to the 40, and then threw it 45 yards in the air to the back.
Off his back foot, right on the money.
You know what's funny is my dad watches a lot of Iowa football with me. And but he doesn't watch a lot of NFL football. So it's hilarious to me when I show him these NFL plays. And to the extent of his knowledge, forward passes beyond 15 yards past the line of scrimmage are not even allowed because all he watches is Iowa. So I show him plays like that, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, why can't our quarterback do that?"
Well, some of the quarterback throws going on in the NFL now are just unreal.
Some Matt Stafford had a no look-ish, or he pump faked the corner off and then kind of threw a little sidearm past the defensive lineman down the middle of the field to Devontae. Just a filthy throw. I mean, it's amazing watching. I mean, as much as we love college sports, to watch the NBA and the NFL after watching and covering these games as closely as we do, they do, it's truly incredible.
Some talent out there.
Yeah, it's unreal. All right, we'll go visit Big Grove. Again, proud sponsor of the show. We'll get to our last caller here with Coach Close, and then we'll let him slide. Do appreciate your time as always,
you
Coach.
Bet.
Let's get Cody into the show. Cody, how we doing this evening?
Good. How are you guys?
Hey, Cody, how are you doing?
Not too bad.
Very good. You know, Gary, when you get back to the Midwest, if you come to Northwest Iowa, it's Okoboji Winter Games this weekend, and they're doing a polar plunge. So you can leave that South Carolina and come do a polar plunge.
Ooh. Is there actually water?
How much would they have to pay you to do that, Coach Close?
A lot.
Yeah.
I can't picture it.
They've got it all marked out. It looks awful, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to do it. So
there's open water where they can do it.
They opened up some.
Wow.
To as of last week, it was about 10.5 inches thick, but it's been pretty cold this week, and it's going to be even colder the next. I think Thursday starts the.
Yeah.
How many?
They're really cold. So.
How many people will plunge?
Oh man!
Other than yourself.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'll hand a towel to somebody if they want to do it, but there'll probably be 100. I bet. It's crazy. I know. I want nothing to do with it, but I'm just wondering.
We had a polar plunge down here for New Year's Eve, and the water was 55. I mean, that's not like that. It's cold, but it's not like that.
Yeah, not interested. That's I will pass on that. But I was just wondering, I don't know if you'd call the game tonight if we were flat or maybe uninspired or maybe tired. I don't know, whatever, take your pick. But did you ever, when you were coaching, Gary, did you ever notice that in your team before they got out onto the floor? Or is it something you didn't notice till the game started? And if so, what did you do to try to bring them out of it?
And sometimes you notice even the day before, your practices just aren't as sharp and concentration is not as good. And that's going to happen, with a long season, especially when you get games going back to back. And you got to be real careful when you come off a really big win. Then you kind of think you've got everything figured out. So I think the biggest thing is you just got to stay the same. I mean, you start changing and taking on a different demeanor. Not that you're not going to point things out in some way, shape, or form, but you can't just go off. I mean, you got to be who you are. I mean, you can't get up there on a scouting report and say Rutgers is a team that's capable to beat you, and then they do, and then you're going crazy because they are when you just said they were. So I mean, you got to be honest, and that's the Big Ten. You're going to get games. There'll be more games like that. You watch. There'll be some games where you can go, how the heck did they, get that close? And some of it's confidence. You get a little confidence going. Rutgers got off to a good start, and that gives them a little bit of confidence. But like we've said, to their credit, they found a way to win. Then hopefully they learned from it. If some of the guys weren't ready, and then maybe this was a good learning message that, hey, you can't take anybody lightly in this league. And a lot of times it shows up on the defensive end or with turnovers. And I thought their defense for the most part was pretty good. They gave up a little more dribble penetration.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I was going to say, Coach. Like a lot of times when you see this stuff, it's like they're not closing out well, or they're not,
Right.
those boxing out well. That was weird because they were pretty lethargic on offense. But I was pleased with their defense. I don't know if that's a credit to Coach McCollum for kind of shaking them out of it, at least on that end, or what that was. But it is interesting because a lot of times when those kinds of nights happen, you see teams give up 90, not necessarily look terrible on offense.
Right. Yeah. Well, they're a good defensive team, so they can hang their hat on that and get them through some offensive droughts that they had. But I even think defensively they probably didn't think that was as well as they can play. I thought they gave up a lot of more dribble penetration than they usually do around the rim. So,
it's interesting too.
They tighten it up down the stretch.
For all their offensive struggles tonight, like I've just got the official box score in front of me here. And if I glanced at this and I hadn't watched the game, I would have thought they did okay. They shot 47% from the field. They shot 37% from three, 13 of 16 from the line, and they won the turnover battle by 7. Like those things all point to we did okay tonight. Like that, none of that.
And they
none
caused
of
some turnovers.
Big red flag,
some
but
of them were.
Yeah. Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers had 7 more turnovers, but Rutgers did not turn the ball over live. Iowa turned the ball over live a couple of times.
Yeah. Rebounding kept Rutgers in it too. They I don't know how many offensive rebounds they got, but I bet they got close to double figures.
Yeah, Rutgers won the rebounding battle by 7, but they took 7 less shots, even with 7 more rebounds, which is kind of weird. A lot of weird stuff in this box score.
Do you foresee the extra travel with the added teams in California leading to more teams being flat, or do you not always attribute it to tiredness? Is it more of just a mental thing?
Yeah, no, I think you could. I don't think there's any doubt. I think it's a little easier on the teams that are in the Midwest, those West Coast teams. Wow, I don't know how they do it. It'll be interesting to see a West Coast team win the Big Ten or be up there, battling right to the end with the travel that they've got to do. It definitely does wear on you. And then some of it's mentally tired. And then I think also you get out of, when you're not in school, you get out of your routine. And sometimes you sleep too much, or you don't get to bed at the right time, or you get off your schedule. And all of that can contribute to lethargic play. And I know coaches love when school starts back up again, because then they get on a routine and this is what we're doing, and you tend to play a little better.
Yeah. This game would have finished at 11:30 Rutgers time.
Oof.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, safe travels, Coach.
All right.
See you later, Kyle.
Bye,
Good to talk to you, Corey or Cody. All right. Well, last thing, Coach, I've got one chat I'd like to run by, and then we'll get you to sleep for a big flight tomorrow morning back to the cold. How about that? Shane has a question for you. He says, question, why would a coach call a timeout immediately after inbounding a ball after made free throws and then pin your throwing guy?
That was interesting right towards the end of the game. I'm guessing maybe you got a better free throw shooter in there for when they foul after that. I don't know. I think Koch ended up throwing the ball in bounds. I'm guessing he was in the game, but maybe he wasn't. They wanted a better inbound thrower, or just get organized. If you had plenty of timeouts, just to get organized. It caught my attention too, and I'm guessing maybe they got maybe a questionable free throw shooter out of there.
Yeah. I haven't asked you this, Coach. I know you've probably talked about it with Corey, but thoughts on Coach McCollum's tendency to call timeouts after good plays for Iowa. Tate Sage hit a 3 in the first half. I think tied the game up or cut the lead to 2 in the first half when they were down kind of 5-ish points. And Ben immediately calls a timeout. What do you make of that? Obviously, not a very traditional approach to timeouts. Yeah. Why do that?
I think that's his style, and I'm guessing he's setting up his defense. I think he's just constantly harping back on that. That's a good offensive play. Now we got to get. Here's what I want you. Most people call timeouts to set up something offensively. He does a lot of times to set things up defensively. Maybe there's been some defensive lapses that he hasn't liked that he wants to make sure are corrected. I think more and more coaches are doing that, especially defensive-minded coaches, so to speak, in terms of, okay, let's have a real good defensive possession here and keep this going.
All right. Well, Coach, I do appreciate your time here. We're gonna cut you loose. I'm on strict instructions not to keep you up too late. I know it's 11:19 for you as well. So
yeah,
there you go.
I appreciate that, and we'll look forward to talking again.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Coach. Thank you.
Take care. You bet.
Yep. All right. Always appreciate Coach Close and his time with us here. It's going to be just me for the rest of the night. I'm not going to stay around too long unless I hear from Corey that he's going to be able to join us. Do want to update you on one game that's going on right now, halfway through the second half with 11:25 to play. UCLA at home is leading Purdue 50-45. They're up 5 on the Boilermakers. So a game that we will continue to monitor tonight, obviously with Big Ten implications. Purdue, the 4th-ranked team in the country, and a team that will come to Carver-Hawkeye later this season again. So we'll be monitoring that. Going to give our shout out to Big Grove one more time here. Bennett Sturtz, our play of the game tonight, with his and one layup with 1:42 to go, to push the lead back up to 5, I believe it was. So big and one finish for a guy that had a slow night tonight. Let's see here. He was 8 of 21, I believe. 8 of 21, 0 of 6 from 3. Again, 5 turnovers, did have 5 assists. And finally broke his streak. I can't remember what he was during Indiana, but had a streak there, 4 or 5 games of foul trouble. Only had 1 tonight, and it was the charge with a minute and a half to go. So good to see Bennett starting to not foul quite as much. He had 2 against Purdue and 3 against Indiana. Okay, so it had kind of gone away a little bit there, but yeah, 2 against or just 1 tonight. But the 5 turnovers, obviously not a very memorable night for him. 38% from the field, 80% from the line. Interesting stuff, and that includes a strong finish. So he had to be around about 6 for 19 or 7 for 6 for 19 or 6 for 17, maybe before that. So we'll look for brighter days from Bennett. But Big Grove's big play of the game, Bennett Sturtz and 1 layup with 1:42 to go as Iowa defeats Rutgers 68-62. Our last call for the night. If you'd like to come in and talk just before we wrap things up here, I'm going to throw the link to the call-in line in the chat. So if you want to go ahead and call in before we get to the end of our road here with callers, please do that. We're about 40 minutes in. I'll probably hang around for another 20 minutes or so talking to you about Iowa's win over Rutgers. Let's discuss this again. You guys have probably seen me talk about this a couple of times because I've been at quite a few of the games this year, been at a bunch of the men's games and then a couple women's games. This comment says, didn't seem like there's 9,700 people there. Come on, Hawk fans, come out and support these guys. I would agree. I've agreed all year, and not in a bad way, but just it's a little bit more of a kind of corporate stale environment when the men's team plays. I was at the Michigan State game. For those of you that didn't catch the post game, I called in afterwards after we got out of the press with Jan Coach Jan, after Iowa's win over Michigan State. And there's just so much more energy in the building right now when the women play. And to be fair to them, they've earned it. They've put the work in. They've made incredible memories for the fan base. So hopefully the men can look at that as a sort of benchmark for where things can go in Carver, even without, everybody's talked about renovations and what we're going to do, but look at the women as kind of a pinnacle of what that arena can be, because there's a ton of energy in the building. Very, very loud when Michigan State brought the ball up. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Tonight's attendance was, I think 97 is basically right on, 97, 78. Students kind of just getting back in town now. So hopefully that starts to alleviate a little bit. I mean, no promises. Certainly that student section hasn't been a strength for a while, but hopefully it bounces back. But yeah, I continue to think that whatever the count is for the women's game, they outpunch their weight, and whatever the count is for the men's game, they tend to slightly, underperform given the number of people that are there. So we'll keep an eye on it. I will continue to go. Unfortunately, when I'm there, this will be something to take up with Iowa media, but I cannot cheer when I go because I'm a member of the press. So I actually can't even wear black and gold because I have to be neutral as a member of the media. So I would be contributing and doing my part, but I am bound by Iowa media rules not to. So we'll maybe I'll buy a ticket as a normal fan at some point later in the year and go and scream my head off like normal. So, all right, let's get to what looks to be our final caller of the night, unless anybody else wants to jump in here. I don't see. Yep, I don't think we have anybody else in the line. If you want your comment addressed to drop that in the comments there. We'll try to get to it before we head out tonight. Any more thoughts on the game tonight? But without further ado, Doug, what are we doing? What do you think we're playing?
Well, I went to the game and went to Hawk Talk last night, and it's kind of, you can hear me, right, Kyle?
I can hear you. I can hear
myself a little bit too, though. Okay, sorry. I'm on my phone. I don't usually do this on my phone. Yeah, I think we're the only last time I saw Jan and I saw Ben, and as soon as Jan's show was over, the place cleared out last night. I think we're one of only two schools maybe in the country that, like maybe UConn and Gino and whoever. Well, Hurley's pretty awesome. I mean, people probably would, but we're probably one of very few schools where they would literally clear out for the women. Yeah, after Jam was done. Got to meet Tate Sage last night, which was really cool. Had some talks with him. Told him he could be fresh, all Big Ten, make the All Big Ten freshman team, and then he does that. So he's. I also talked to him about Owen because last time I met a player at the Hawk Talk, it was Owen. 2 years later, he's at Creighton, and I'm really worried that we develop players like Tate and they leave, because I think Tate will be a really good one, and I just hope Oklahoma or somebody doesn't offer him big money in a couple of years and he leaves, because I think he could really be a very good player, as he showed tonight. And one of the coolest parts of tonight is, how all the people line up on the baseline to shake hands. He sees me on the baseline and has a huge smile and tells me All Big Ten. That was probably one of the coolest moments as a Hawkeye fan. So he remembered me from last night, remembered my comment, and then performed. And so that was really cool.
Absolutely.
He's again, I mean, you get to shake Bennett smiling. They wouldn't have been smiling if they lost. They had no offense. Like I said, it stretches. They just play bad for 4 or 5 minutes, and I don't know. They have no offense. It's same as Fran having no defense for 4 or 5 minutes, and luckily that was Rutgers. We can't have those droughts against Purdue or Michigan or even Nebraska. They'll blow us out.
They would have lost to a lot of teams.
Yeah. That Rutgers team wasn't good. That probably, somebody said, well, that was a good game. I said, well, that's a quad 3, quad 4 team, But, we've talked about the schedule. We're going to come back next week. I'm not staying the night next week, but we're going to go to the USC game. And, these games are hard for fans that live 2 hours away. We're talking about the schedule. I made a little mini vacation this week to take a couple days off, spend some time by myself. But next week, next Wednesday, I'm gonna have to take off work early to make a 6:00 game. And I don't know when I hope, I hope there's Hawk fans in Iowa City that can start coming. I think your last caller say was from Okoboji. I don't expect them to make every game. It's Iowa City people. I don't know if one of my questions for you is it financial? Can a family go to both the women and men football? Like, at what point are you stretched too thin? And if it's a choice, I mean, are we monopolizing ourselves in the athletic department? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm gonna mute you for a second so I don't hear myself.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair question. I think honestly one of the problems is that the Iowa City, like if you call it the metro area around the university, is just not very big compared to most of these Big Ten teams. I mean, you think about the cities that are around, even Northwestern's got Chicago. So if 0.0001% of Chicago wants to go to a game versus if 10% of Iowa City wants to go to a game, you still got more people in Chicago. Columbus is a bigger area. Champagne's even, I think Champagne's similar. It's definitely not smaller, but it's similar. Madison, same thing. You got all these different areas that are, and Iowa City's really kind of at the bottom of the barrel in terms of size. So I think that's one thing. I'm going to pull this up just because it's interesting. I mean, the men's tickets are not expensive right now. That's one of the things that's kind of confusing to me. I mean, I think you can go and get in the door for basically any game for $15-20 if you wait until last second. And the women, a lot of the get-in prices are, $50 something, and they have no problem for the last 5 seasons packing that gym, even post Caitlin. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the answer is. I mean, I'm going to default to what my answer's been all season, which has been that the women have earned it and they deserve it. And by the way, even like this season, they're a very exciting product. Like, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed going to see them play Michigan State, and Michigan State's a really good team too. So credit to them for producing a really good game. But it's just one of those things where the women, I think, have put in their shift and they've earned it. And even this year, they're a very personable, very exciting product. They're very easy to bond with when you watch them. Very easy to root for. And you've got some players on the team, like you've got a Kylie and you've got a Hannah that are longtime players. And then you also have that great combination of like, okay, we got, a solid core here that in 2 years, I really believe could contend for a Final Four appearance again. So the combination of those things, I don't know that people necessarily see the future in terms of this personnel going on at Iowa and winning, winning regions in NCAA tournaments. If anything, they maybe see that in the coach, but with Bennett departing and all that stuff, the uncertainty with Fulgaris and those kinds of things, you just don't know if this is the start of something or if they're going to need some time. And really the student section, I don't know what they're going to do about that. Ben's incredibly engaging and very, very personable with the student section. And you've watched this. He goes after every game and he kind of high fives down the line. He's doing his part. I just don't know where they go as far as this season. I think that's something they can address in the off season. But yeah, I'll turn it over to you. But I just don't know where they go in that sense.
Yeah, they did 2 bar beers. There was a long line for both the beers and pretzels. They basically wrapped around half the building. They had, they got rid of those jerseys and that, the jerseys were gone in 10 minutes. I don't know. Corey's talked about giving them the free tickets. I don't really care too much. If that means I have to pay $5 more a ticket, I would be willing to do that. As you said, on StubHub, there's some games that we can get for $4 or $5. Again, for us, or for me personally, it's just travel, or having to take off early from work, or not get home till 1 a.m., or 2 a.m. And like I said, right now, if I would have left, realistically, I would have got home after midnight. So it just stay here. I don't always have $80, $100 for, luckily weekdays hotel rooms are pretty cheap, but again, it's just making those decisions. And I'm not a family of four. And, when I took my nieces and nephews, I've been trying to get them to be Hawkeye fans. They live in Ames. I don't want them to become some Cyclone fans. It's really difficult. And that's the reason why I like meeting Tate, like having Owen leave, because my nephew met him and he was his favorite player. The transfer portal doesn't help. And I'm hoping, like, as you said, we can bond with Tate and Cooper and these guys and develop Isaiah Howard. And then all of a sudden we have these guys that we've known for 2 or 3 years. We bonded with them just as we, like Hannah Solke or somebody like that, where we like know these guys. Basically, we don't know Cooper even, because, Cooper barely played last year. We do know JR, but you're right. It's just getting to know this team, and hopefully in a few years, I think if they make the NCAA, it will help a lot this year. Again, Corey's mentioned it. I think they have pieces, but they need to go to the transfer portal and get someone maybe to replace Bennett. And because I don't know who coming back will be the guy that you put on the poster. Who's the guy you put on the poster? Is it Figueres if he comes back? Is it Cooper? Is it Tate? Who's the guy we put on the poster next year? And maybe that player maybe it is Tate. Hopefully it's Tate, and he just shows up for the next 10 games. And, we're like, oh, there's our future. Well, thank you for taking my phone call, Kyle. Let you have your parting words without hearing yourself. I appreciate everything. And like I said, I appreciate you guys in the Discord and all of that. Again, men's basketball will get there. And, they will. And it's not a competition with the women. I watched the women's game. I really think there's more than enough market here that it's just a new team, and winning helps. Winning helps your brand. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Doug for his call there. And I'll take this opportunity to plug a couple of things before we kind of head out for the night. First, the Discord. If you're not in there, you got to get in there at some point soon. $5 a month donation to the link is in the description to Venmo. I think it's Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Will get you in for a month. And $50 to get you in for the year. That's really what we prefer. If you're going to hang around there for a while, just makes it kind of easy on me and Corey to monitor everything. But we do have, I'm checking our list right now. I believe we have over 40 people now in the Discord. Yeah, we got at least 40 people on that list. So let's see, we're at, we got, so we got 58 people. Including myself, Corey Kashin, all of our people that are in there. So about 50 plus of you guys that are in there. So that's been a real fun experience so far, and kind of an experiment that we've run to kind of get another platform, another way for you to interact with myself, Corey Kashin, our other personalities from the Hawkeye the Storm. So if you have not already, please get in that. And I will take a quick moment just as I'm finishing up here to plug myself. Kyle Spence Golf. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to those or follow those. If you're social media on either of those two platforms, I am going to try to start posting. I think I've said on the show, but I've had a little bit of a wrist issue, so I haven't been able to film much or do much there, but going to be trying to get those up and going again. So Instagram and YouTube, Kyle Spence Golf, if you're interested, or in the Iowa City area looking for coaching. So let's wrap this. See if there's any chats here. I know T Hink was commenting about the prices. And I get it. It's not nothing to go to a game. It never will be, unfortunately. I wish it was, but right now I've got the games pulled up. And he's right on the Saturdays. They are expensive. That's the caveat, but USC coming up here on January 28th, just over a week from today. It's $22 to get in the door, and that's before they probably lower prices last second when the seats are not filled. So if you wanted to go and sit, I've got it pulled up right now. If you want to go sit in section F, section BB, that's not a bad view. Row 41, kind of at the free throw line there across from the Hawkeye. So $27, including fees, to go and see that game. So please go. If you're in the Iowa City area, go root the Hawkeyes on. They really do need those crowds. USC Northwestern's another one. Get in prices $36. I'm sure that'll drop. The Purdue game is $86 at Carver on a Saturday. Let's see, Nebraska. I mean, gosh, Nebraska coming to town, undefeated Nebraska. I hate saying that sentence. That feels like vomit coming out of my mouth. But February 17th, they come to Carver at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I know that's maybe not the most convenient at times, but if you're in the Iowa City area, $38 to watch a barn burner this is on SeatGeek. I just saw this comment about what site it's on. Go to SeatGeek and look for these tickets. $38 to go to the Nebraska game in Section 2. So, and if I even look, I'm going to look for the first seat that I would take. Okay, first seat that I would take, let's see here. There's a $38 ticket in Section CC. That's not too bad. That's actually right with the media. So you might, I don't know, might see one of us there. Right next to where I sit in the media. It's a really good seat, row 26, $38, including fees. Yeah, plenty of great tickets, great games to watch. So if you're in the Iowa City area, please go out and get those tickets. Ohio State coming to town on February 25th on a Wednesday. That's at 8 p.m., $23 to get into that game. Michigan then is on a Thursday. That's $80. That's more expensive towards the end of the season, but plenty of opportunities there. I would say I may be picking up one or two of those if I can. And those prices are including fees. So if you go to SeatGeek, they're gonna stick you with taxes, but that is including all of the bloated fees. So really the ticket price, if you're to see it on a lot of other websites, is lower than that. So so do go and pick those up. Again, it's all a credit to the men if they can turn it around and get more fans in there, but they need our support this year for the rest of the season as they make a push towards the end of the year. Let's check on that Purdue game real quick. Let's see here, versus UCLA. What is the score of that game? Purdue's taking the lead again, 65-61 with 2 minutes to go. So Purdue over UCLA with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go. Let's update on the standings too. I need to catch up on this myself. Iowa moves to 4-4 in the Big Ten. In the middle of the pack, obviously, they've now won 2 in a row after their 3-game skid. They've got lots of games to play against teams that are ahead of them. They play Ohio State. Ohio State moved to 5-3 tonight after an overtime victory over Minnesota. So Ohio State's at 5-3. They will play them in Carver. They play Michigan. They play Purdue. They play Nebraska. They got 3 tough games there. Those 3 teams, Nebraska, Purdue, and Michigan, a combined 21-1 in conference play. So yeah, they got plenty of good games coming up. But middle of the pack, I would say they're on the 7 seed line right now. As far as the tournament goes, I would love to see them get up to that 5-6 line, somewhere in there. Get a lower seed in the second round, better chance to make the second weekend. I think in order to do that, they're going to have to be 12-8 in the conference to do that. So if they can do that, credit to them. Let's see what they have remaining here. My computer's kind of messing with me here, but they've got, I don't know if that's the rest of their, no, that's definitely not the rest of their games. Let's pull it up on ESPN. I don't trust Google. Pull up the rest of their games. I just kind of want to walk through this real quick as we sort of wrap up here. Yeah, we got USC, who's middle of the pack in the Big Ten. They've got Oregon, Washington, Northwestern, Maryland. Those are all winnable games. And in fact, I believe Bart Torvik has them winning all 5 of those. But at least you get 4 out of those 5, if not 5, hopefully. And then Purdue, Nebraska, tough. At Wisconsin, tough. I think Bart Torvik has them losing all 3 of those. So that would be 5-3. That would have them at 9-6 or 9-7 in Big Ten play with a few games to go. Then they got Ohio State at home, Penn State, and then they finish with Michigan and Nebraska. So they've got to run the table, I would say, the next 5 in a row, and that would get them to 9-4 in the Big Ten. But then of their remaining games at that point at 9-4, of their remaining games, they'd have a game against Purdue, 2 against Nebraska, a road game against Wisconsin, and then a home game against Michigan. So 5 very, very losable games out of the last 7. So they're going to need a cushion. They're going to need to build up a cushion if they want to hang that or get that seed up to 5-6, somewhere in that range. So they're not getting a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the second round. So we'll keep an eye on it. They're predicted to win the next 5. So hopefully a lot of winning basketball coming up. Again, Iowa defeating Rutgers 68-62 tonight. They survived. That's really all we have to say. It's really all we can say on a night like tonight. Nights do happen like this in basketball. It's not necessarily the same as football, where the physical advantages are so great that teams can't overcome that on a bad night. This happens all the time. I'm not going to panic, as I'm going to be very clear on the record here. I still very much believe in this team. I don't think this is a reason to abandon ship. If they would have lost tonight, it would have been very, very difficult to see them getting to that 5-6 line with a quad 4 loss. But they are a top 16 defense, guys. They're a top 16 defense in the country. They are still 35th in offense, which is not a weakness, not necessarily a huge strength either, but not a weakness. And their strength of schedule getting better all the time as they go through conference play. Their metrics, Ken Pom, their top 20. I believe Bart Torvik, their top 20. Let's see what they are on the net. Let's see here. Iowa in the net is 20th as well. So top 20 in all the metrics. They are 9-1 at home and 1-4 on the road, 3-0 neutral. They're 1-4 now in quad 1 with that win over Indiana, getting them their first quad 1 victory. They're 3-1 in quad 2 and 9-0 in quads 3 and 4. So lots of quad 1 wins that they still probably need to pick up, but plenty of opportunities to do that. As T. Hink says, a win is a win, and on to the next one. That's all you have to. That's really all you can say. All right, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you for the last hour, talking Hawkeye hoops. We've got plenty more to come, as Iowa will take on USC in 8 days. They get a nice break, but they'll play against USC within the friendly confines of Carver-Hawkeye Arena at 6 p.m. on BTN. We will be there post-game, breaking it all down, win, lose, draw, with all of you. Appreciate y'all. Join the Discord, support our sponsors, and we will see you after USC.